Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Obalde. We are back again on another edition. Wherever you're watching this program, thank you very much for always tuning in. And today on the program, I know before we finish this, you're going to find it very interesting because I am with my landed seniors, Mr. Ade Drame and Mr. Momodu Mboj. You know.
Thank you. Those who always tune in. What about those who are tuning in for the first time? Are you also welcoming them?
Absolutely. We need them on board,
Absolutely.
especially our wonderful viewers.
It might be their first time and they might want to come again. So welcome them.
They are also, everybody is welcome.
We are not lawyers, my learned friends. Please, let's just leave that to the lawyers. Do you mind?
No. I'm trying to give you your flowers.
No, don't give us
I'm
somebody else's flowers.
I'm trying to acknowledge.
He's being romantic. Giving us flowers.
Don't give us somebody else's flowers.
Guys.
Like those people who over the weekend were calling me doctor.
When you mention flowers, when we mention flowers, it reminds me of my birthday tomorrow.
Oh, when is your birthday again?
Tomorrow, 6th of February.
I heard you.
So I am taking Q money, bank transfer, I'm taking everything. I want someone to take me out and spoil me.
You're
Well,
February person.
Everybody wants to be spoiled. So Mr. Momodu Mboj, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right. Yes, I'm here co-hosting.
Yes.
I'm on short notice, if I might add.
Unforeseen
So, Mr. Ade, how are you?
I'm well, and let me just decline.
And let that phone
You see, they keep telling us to switch our phones off, but we have an emergency, and so that's why my
absolutely.
It's ringing.
Yeah,
I can see.
Obviously, somebody who's not watching QTV.
Yes.
Apologies for that, viewers.
It's all right. It happens sometimes. Sometimes even in the mosque where they say when your phone ring, you pay $50. At some point, you hear phones ringing. You know. So on the program, we'll take a look at the African code. From the code, then the normal newspaper review, because I'm seeing quite very interesting headline already. Women leaving their rice fields because of fear of violence, from military attacks.
But do we know where this is?
And the likes. It might be Fonyi. I know
so
this has been happening.
Guess there.
Yes, it's been happening, around the border, so I believe it will be for Fonyi, but we will delve into the story later. Then Gambia at 60, independence celebration. Very soon,
we have another video.
18 February. And we'll be looking at a video that is compiled by the QTV News Department. I think yesterday the video played a very significant role, and one or two people were telling me so there are things that they've even learned from that video that they didn't know.
Well, that's what we hope to do with the series of videos that we'll be playing throughout the month. And as we said at the beginning of the month, we are designating February as Diamond Jubilee Month. So we know that the 18th is the date for the Diamond Jubilee, but we thought, well, let's take this to kind of inform, educate, and entertain people about the Gambia. And we want every time you watch one of these videos to see something, oh, I didn't know that, oh, that's interesting, so it's a mixture of things.
And surprisingly, many people don't know Safaram Singate, was part of the struggle, to gain independence. Safaramang was there before Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. He was a prime minister.
And you could go way back to people who kind of agitated for, self-rule, independence, Edward Francis Small and others. There are many. There are many. It was a long journey. It wasn't a violent one in terms of a sort of physical or armed struggle. But intellectually, people were debating and pushing. So there are many people who...
Absolutely.
And let's get our terms right. Safarimang Singate was never a prime minister.
No, quite.
The only prime minister we had then was Sadara
Jawara.
Jawara.
Okay.
Before that, P.S. Nyai was chief minister.
Chief minister.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
I think
That's right.
Safarimang and the governor.
That's right.
The last governor.
Yes.
So let us be careful
was
here, representing the queen.
The queen.
Mind you,
Correct.
then.
Correct.
So that's what it is.
That's the real.
So
That's the real scenario there.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be talking to the women in STEM team. It's important for us to engage. And Kodo Jeng, President Women in STEM, would be here.
She's already here.
Empowering innovation, celebrating the rise of women in STEM fields. I mean, we've seen the Q group encouraging a lot of young women and also students, I mean, when it comes to the STEM field. Recently, we've given out packages, the Q Group Foundation sponsoring university students, and they've been doing it for many years.
STEM and double the number this time.
And double the
So
number.
20 instead of 10. So yeah, that's a very progressive
Well,
thing.
you see, this is the only way we can make a difference and make a change. I mean, you cannot make a change without having, go through these things. That is this STEM fields. I mean, we need to diversify, certain areas. Imagine the number of lawyers that graduate from the University of the Gambia. So you can see, how it's effective. I'm not saying it's not effective.
Who graduate with the law degree.
How effective it is to economic growth at some point. Because if I am a lawyer today, probably what I'm paid is going to my pocket. But what are you going to do? I mean, to make a difference.
No, I mean, it's about people graduating with law degrees, and some of them go on to become lawyers, and many don't. But I've always felt a kind of disproportionate number of people have gone into that field. Really, many of them, maybe they do it just for the intellectual exercise, because we know that our courts are clogged up with cases that are not proceeding apace.
Mr. Ade, we'll come back to that. I will never forget my director's birthday, Aliu Jallo, my able director.
Well,
we miss
you've
you.
forgotten it.
Oh, we miss you, Aliu. Our director's birthday is 7th February. I am 6th, Eliza is 7th, Aliu is 7th, Benjamin is 6th. I and Benjamin, we share the same birthday, 6th February. Aliu Jallo and Eliza, they share the same birthday, 7th. So it's going to be a birthday with a difference. Yes.
My mother's birthday is the 10th of February. My sister's is the 1st.
Okay.
And I have a cousin, Valerie, is the 14th.
So let's deal with the African code.
Let's dive.
The one who throws the stone forgets. The one who is hit remembers.
Yes. We used to say it about words. Because sometimes you can say a word casually in the heat of an argument or in the heat of a moment. And many times in my life, I've reminded people of things they've said, and they never remember it. But he who hears it, the person to whom it is directed, you will never forget it, particularly if it's something that's wounding or vicious, criticism that you think is unfair. You will never forget it. But the person they might be used to doing it to everybody. So, they do it to yet another person. They're not going to remember the 10 or 20 or 30 people that they've insulted. But if you are the insultee, if there's such a word, if you are the insulted, you will remember it. But the person who threw the insult, however casually, they might not remember it. So with the stone, I mean, physically, if we take it in the kind of metaphorical sense about words being hurtful, there are many times that I can recall when, I've reminded people about things they said, not necessarily to me, but to other people. They're like, no, I would have never said something like that. I was like, no, I was there, you did. And in fact, just on Monday, I was having a discussion with somebody, and I mentioned something that somebody had said. And they were genuinely shocked that the person said it. And it wasn't about me, but I was there when the person said something. And it was really something quite serious. And she was like, and it was a cousin of ours had said something about somebody. And she was like, he said that? I said, yeah. I said, I was there. And I was so shocked by it that I would never forget it. And yet, when I reminded that cousin that he had said that thing, I won't go into it because it's quite deep. He said, no, I've never said that. And I said, no, I was there. You said it.
He totally forgot.
He completely forgot.
Exactly.
Okay, it was 15 years ago, but he completely forgot. And it was something really quite nasty.
Oh, so this is what it does. The axe forget, but the tree always remember. You understand? So, Mr. Mulch.
Yes, words, deeds, casting a long shadow, isn't it? And it is so difficult. Sometimes you talk to people, or you do something. The time you didn't make much of it. To you, it was some innocuous act.
Yeah.
But again, to the other party, it's some deep wound.
Yeah.
And you just don't know. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how I deal with people is that sometimes most things are not meant. So when people say sometimes hurtful things, I'll think, he didn't really mean it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So one tries to sort of adapt to soften things. Exactly. And when you think about it, really, Ade, most sort of hurtful things,
we all do it.
They're never really meant. No, you just say it or you do it
in the heat
of the moment. In the heat of the moment. You know?
Yeah.
And who knows, sooner or later you come to regret and stuff like that.
It's
very interesting.
It's escape.
So that's why, I mean, it's important for us to choose our words. I mean, before you utter something, make sure your tongue is connected to your brain. You know, because some of these words you might say them, and at the same time they keep hurting someone. And there are people that you know, they will pass it to generation. Their grandfather said this to me.
And a feud goes on, and everybody forgets how the feud started.
We've seen those kind of instances where people, generation to generation, because he did this to my father or did this to my grandfather or grandmother, we are going to continue the fight.
Let me tell you this, and this is a completely true story. I had 2 grand uncles. They were the brothers of my grandmother. So this is deep family stuff I'm going into. They lived literally next door to each other.
And they don't speak to each other?
In my lifetime, they're both dead now. They never spoke to each other. The houses were so close that you could be in one house and reach out and shake hands with somebody in the other. That's how close they were. And they never spoke to each other in my living memory.
And they are brothers?
Brothers. Same mother, same father. They were brothers, and it all was over property and stuff. And I found it astonishing that, you know, it wasn't even your property. Your parents' property had led to that. I mean, you know, maybe I shouldn't be revealing family secrets, but it's a fact. It's a true
now they've
story.
Died, and they've left everything here. Strangers will
not
take over.
Yeah, and their children kind of met each other at school and greeted each other, but when they were in the house, they kind of pretended they didn't know, and literally the houses were that close
When
together.
2 brothers fight, a stranger will take over, or a stranger will inherit.
Which is what they say.
You understand? So we'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll take a look at the newspapers. We'll be right back.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your Q Money wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your Q Money account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Q-Money e Orange Money joni weɓi ni nuldugol mbuuɗi mi yetoma joni ida wawi nuldude mbuuɗi iwra ko Gambia ɗo yaha Sénégal e Q-Money wallet ma on eyyi ko honno wonɗa e fadde mi yetoma uddudu Q-Money account ma on joni fuɗɗoɗa nuldude mbuuɗi e teriɓe ma ɓe waɗon ka Orange Money nder Sénégal fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi ida wawi nuldude Q-Money customer care e 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe ɗum no yaadi e sartaji.
This is QTV This Morning, and I am Ibrahim Balde. We are back. Let's move on to the stories on the Standards newspaper. And the main headline is saying, Bureau de Change worker tells court he spent $1.9 million on gambling bets.
Bureau de Change. Yes.
Should we call it Bureau de Change? Or Bureau de Change?
The whole phrase is French.
It's French.
So he's mixing up there, isn't
Even
he?
in England, They call it bureau de change. They don't call
Of
it bureau de
course,
change.
yeah.
So
I
this
mean,
means English
the whole
have-
phrase is
French have already taken that word and it's global now. We
it's
can
global.
use it.
It's like rendezvous. It's a
Re-
French
yeah,
word,
yeah,
but you still
rendezvous.
use it in English. You know,
But a good number of languages have
It's
loan
got
words,
loan
as they
words
call
that they've
them.
loaned.
Yeah,
They
they're
are borrowed
loaned.
from.
Yeah, absolutely. That's,
and that's just one
that's
phrase.
the
Deja
history
vu.
of language.
You know, you hear an English person say, "Oh, I have a feeling of deja vu." It's
And you
clearly
will
a
be
French
surprised
word,
to know
of course.
most of our local language, the likes of Mandinka, they borrowed a lot of words from the French and the Portuguese.
Yeah.
Particularly
li-
Portuguese,
the,
you mean.
the
Portuguese.
likes of
Yes.
Kojaro,
Right.
Calero, those are words that are borrowed
Borrowed
from
from,
those
yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I
Gambling.
mean, the employee of the Bureau de Change is telling us he spent $1.9 million on gambling bets. I mean,
Somebody else's money. I
somebody
suspect.
else's money. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder how you were able to spend all that money. Then you must be a bet addict.
You'd have to be. I mean, when I was a student in England, they were one of the biggest at the time. I'm not sure they're the biggest still, but William Hill. Anybody who grew up in England would know William Hill. They were the biggest sort of betting shops. So I used to work in a betting shop, and there were people who would come in. In those days, in the 70s, people got paid literally in a brown envelope. You got your pay at the end of the week. And there was a guy, I'll never forget, he worked in a car park across the road, Bernard. Regularly, he would come and he would lose to the last penny of his wage packet. You know, he would bet and bet in the hope that he was going to win remarkably and turn it around. I mean, I worked in that betting shop during on weekends and in my holidays, and in 3 years, I only ever recall him winning once. And he won big. The one time he was relatively big. He won like £1,800. And you thought the way he was ecstatic, you'd think he'd won $1 million. And yet, over the 3 years, he must have lost £20,000. You know, and yet he wins 1,800 and he's running around like he's won $1 million. It was ridiculous, but it's an addiction, certainly.
But there is something wrong with this betting platform sometimes.
I'm surprised there are so many here in
Yeah,
what is a mainly
a lot
Muslim
of them
country.
there was a time during the former president's time, Yahya Jammeh, I mean, he banned all betting companies in the
Oh,
Gambia.
is that right?
Yes.
Bettings
Okay.
and casinos.
Right.
These were all locked up, and you know they were not operating. You know, so during his time. Sometimes betting can contribute to a lot of things. You understand? A lot of youths want to make money fast,
Quick.
and they can do anything just to get money to play.
They
I mean,
think it's an easy way to get rich.
although it have turned many people to millionaires.
It
I've
has.
seen.
And it's turned many more into bankrupts.
Exactly.
More than it's made
More than
millionaires.
it's made millionaires, obviously.
But
Yes.
people never see that.
One of my friends, he is a constant player, but he never won more than $1,000. You know, betting. You know, and when he won that, he was celebrating.
That is the root of the addiction. The one time you win, you celebrate. As I said, you know, when I worked in that betting shop, that was the thing that made me know that I would never bet, because I saw how foolish it was. You know, in the course of a day, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people would come into that shop. It's quite a big shop in a place called Soho in central London. And not more than 10 of them won big, really, out of the 3,000 people who visited the shop that day. And that was every day, apart from Sundays when it was closed. You know?
You're going to have people with sort of weaknesses for that sort of thing, for betting. Gambling is addictive, that's what they say, isn't it? That sort of thing.
Right.
So you're bound to get stuff like that once in a while. But I'm wondering, with this bureau de change, management, how did it happen? Is there anybody keeping tab?
Well,
the management.
we've talked about
quite
systems not working
and stuff like
and
that.
this sounds
They're not
like one of
working.
those.
Sounds like
Because
one of them.
you would suspect it's somebody in a position of some authority to handle money who is meant to obviously pass it on, keep it for safekeeping, whatever. So somebody who has a certain level of authority in terms of how they handle it. And I mean, there's a supermarket not far from here, And Indian guy, you know, ever since I've been at QTV, I've always gone there to do my shopping. And one day he said to me, he said, have you noticed that the guy who's normally my helper is not here? I said, yeah, I assumed he'd gone to the village or something. He said, no. He said, for about 3 years, we would always give him the money to bank, you know, 3 million, 2 million here. They gave him 1.5 million and he disappeared. He never came back. They were waiting. Called his phone was switched off. Went to where he lived, no sign of him. And that was it.
Well,
disappeared.
It's sometimes crazy. I mean, how to entrust people with such amount of money without even knowing the next of kin of the individual. Probably someone might come to you and looks very nice, and you employ the person, okay, with the hope that, okay, this is a decent individual, without knowing their, you know, dirty intentions, you know, as well. So it happens.
It's more complex than that. Let's just listen to what they said.
Yeah, quite.
For 3
3
years,
you've entrusted this person
entrusted
with
this
money,
person, and the
big
person
amounts,
did it well,
and bigger amounts than the amount he stole.
Absolutely. And then suddenly, with this single measly 1.5 million,
He takes it and he disappears.
So you just never know. Whatever you do, you take certain risks.
Yeah.
And this is
somebody
really
who
what
you
it
have come
means.
to trust.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have started straight away sending somebody to the bank. You know, they would have been with you for a while. You've built up a level of trust and you think, okay, I can trust this person to cash. And the guy was, he was kind of, you know,
well,
resigned to
we
it.
dealt
because,
with
like,
the Point newspaper, but
know,
we don't have the Point newspaper here.
Yeah.
So we are going with the Foroya newspaper
Yeah,
right now.
cool. What's on Foroya?
We also have at Gambian border, women abandoned. Rice fields amid military, presence.
It would be interesting to know which military.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So it would have
specific
been
location,
significant cost to
specific
delve
area.
into that.
Yeah.
But it's not telling you anything like sorts or something. Was in that, but
No,
maybe
you
it's
can't.
fear of seeing the military
But
or something.
we don't know. When they say military presence, it might be more than just a military presence. Because if it's just a military presence, and so what? You know, why would that make them run? Why would that make them abandon? So maybe there's been some activity related to that military presence which has forced them to abandon. Because to abandon your rice field, that's obviously quite significant, you know.
All right, so the Gambia Press Union Media Council to develop guide on media monitoring of ethical violations.
Yeah, I mean, they will monitor it, and then what will they do with it? What can they do?
What's going to happen at the end of the time?
You know,
What happened to the monitoring that they've been doing previously?
since
And what
time,
have they gained from it?
Well, have they been monitoring?
have they been monitoring?
When you talk to the former president of the Gambia Press Union, they'll tell you we've been monitoring, we've been, doing certain things. We interviewed him here on several occasions.
MS. Yeah, I mean, there have been times when they've reached out to individual journalists because of things they've said and so on, because they want the profession to have a sort of an amount of respectability. And so they're not saying don't go, but don't publish a rumor as if it's a fact. You know, get your facts right, and then they will defend you, they will support you. But they can't support you just because you're a journalist if you say something that is defamatory, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's a difficult one. They can monitor, but and then what? That's the question.
What can they do?
Yeah.
I have to be honest here. With me, when it comes to media outlets, I'm a free marketeer. Yeah. I don't want to group controlling also. It cannot happen anywhere given social media now. It's never going to work like that at all, yes?
That's what I'm saying. Then what? You know, you monitor them, then what?
That's it.
So quickly, we're running out of time now. So what we do, let's take a look at Trump. Let's take a look
T-Rump.
at his
latest crazy notion.
Absolutely.
About
I've
kicking.
seen something that he talked about the Canadians.
Forget the Canadians. He's gone. He's done something that's even worse than that. He's talking about getting the Palestinians out of Gaza completely, sending them to other Arab countries, telling Arab
Particularly
countries
Egypt
take them.
and Jordan.
How is he going to do that?
He's not going to do it, and it's not going to happen.
But why is he
and
saying
it's going
things?
to inflame.
Why is he saying things that he cannot do?
Even Saudi Arabia, which, with all due respect, had recently been sucking up to him and to Israel, have come out quite strongly against it and said this is a no-go area. It's a non-starter. you know, but it's just his latest crazy idea. I mean, the guy, since he came into office, you know, for the second time, he's been hogging the media headlines every single day, and this is just the latest of that. You know, it's the most bonkers notion of many bonkers notions that he's come up with. And if anybody doesn't understand bonkers, it means crazy. It's the craziest notion that he's come up with. He's probably going to top it by coming up with something crazy tomorrow. Say they're going to take over Gambia and move all the Gambians out and move people here. You're laughing, but you know
that will take a lot of procedure for it to
no more nonsensical than saying America should take over Gaza and kick out the Palestinians. Come on, you know, it's ethnic cleansing. And yet, if somebody said that about the Jews, do you think they'd last a minute? There would be scathing condemnation of them. Absolutely scathing.
Sometimes, you know, Trump, you wonder whether he have even someone who advised him, because I am pretty,
somebody posted to BBC.
Sure if there is a sane person to advise him like that, that would
somebody posted to the BBC comments today saying, where are his advisors when he says things like this? I don't think he said, you know, like they said, the person who takes his own advice is a fool. You know,
I don't understand that question. Look at the people he surrounded himself with. The MAGA far-right ideology. It's really a doctrine. And people around him support that.
Thank you, guys. So we'll end this segment here.
Yes, before he invades the Gambia.
You know, we will take a look at the video for the Gambia 60th independence anniversary, and will be we've interviewed the Chief Justice of the Gambia, Hassan B. Jallow, a key figure in the country's legal and judicial landscape, reflected on the remarkable journey of the nation since its independence from Britain in 1965.
Indeed.
So what we do, we'll take a look at the video and we'll be back.
Having been 13 years old at independence, Hassan B. Jallow has witnessed the transformation of the Gambia from a British colony into a sovereign nation. With a legal career spanning several decades, Jallow's life is intertwined with the evolution of the country's judicial system. He completed his legal education in the UK and later served in various significant legal roles, culminating in his appointment as the Chief Justice of the Gambia in 2017. His tenure marks a period of immense development in both the legal profession and the nation's governance. In the early days following the Gambia's independence, the country celebrated with both solemnity and joy. The first independence celebration in 1965 was a milestone marked by formal speeches, traditional ceremonies, and a deep sense of national pride. The Gambia's first Prime Minister and later its first President, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, led the celebrations, which were characterized by ceremonial parades and reflections on the hard-won freedom from British colonial rule. Here is Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow on what he remembers most vividly from the Gambia's early independence celebrations.
I have a very vivid recollection, of course, of Independence Day. I was a young boy then in high school, and I was present at the McCarthy Square on the evening of 17th February to witness the transition. And I was there and I saw the Duke of Kent at the time handing over the instruments of independence to the Prime Minister, then Prime Minister, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, followed by march past and celebrations, etc.
As the decades progressed, the way Gambians celebrated their independence evolved, but the core themes of unity and a shared vision for progress remain unchanged. The Chief Justice of the Gambia shares his memories of how independence was celebrated in the early days.
There's a kind of history of celebrations. Before independence, when we were part of the British Empire, what was celebrated was Empire Day. It was called Empire Day annually, and it was celebrated throughout the empire, including the Gambia. With the advent of independence in 1965, and as a sovereign state, we were no longer part of the empire, so what we celebrated and still continue to celebrate is Independence Day. It was a day which was marked with a lot of celebration from 1965, I believe, up to the 1990s, with a lot of pomp and ceremony, march past, of the armed forces, march past of large groups of school children, of athletes, etc., across the country. There was a central event in Banjul, and then there were other events in the divisional capitals or the regional capitals of country as well. It was essentially focused on the youth.
The 73-year-old describes Independence Day as truly remarkable, as it symbolized our evolution, emancipation, and liberation, despite widespread skepticism about whether the Gambia could thrive as a nation due to its small size and limited resources.
But we have proved the skeptics wrong. The country has survived, not only survived, but done well, both economically, politically, and in terms of governance. So we have proved them wrong. And it's a credit to the previous administrations and to the people of this country that we've managed to do that. And as we look forward to the future, of course, I think what I just want to emphasize is that we should continue to respect our commitment to good governance based on respect for the rule of law, for human rights, for justice, and for democracy. That is the best foundation for us on which to build our peace and our progress.
Chief Justice Jallo's tenure has been marked by efforts to strengthen the rule of law and ensure justice for all Gambians. Having seen the Gambia's legal system evolve, his leadership has been pivotal in modernizing judicial processes, enhancing transparency, and ensuring that the law serves as a bedrock of democracy and justice. Under his leadership, the judiciary has worked to restore public confidence in the legal system, particularly after the political turbulence the country faced in recent decades. Here is Hassan B. Jallow again.
One thing that has remained constant, mostly since independence to now, is the independence of the judiciary. That has remained constant. The commitment of the judges and the magistrates and the legal profession to ensure that justice is done fairly and expeditiously. There are challenges, of course, occasionally.
The 60th independence anniversary is not just a reflection of the Gambia's political independence, but also a celebration of its progress as a nation, legal, social, and economic. With leaders like Hassan B. Jallow, the Gambia continues to move forward, maintaining the ideals of justice, unity, and national pride that have defined its past colonial identity.
We are back. You're watching QTV this morning. Interview there with the Chief Justice of the Gambia, Hassan B. Jallow, and voiced by Julden Jai. It's remarkable. A lot of things the Chief Justice mentioned reflecting, before independence and very significant things. This is what we'll be doing on this program. We will reflect and show people what's happening, what has happened, what transpired before independence, and those that struggle, to make sure we gain our independence from Britain. It's important for us to, showcase those things on QTV. So.
Absolutely. The whole idea was that because of, Diamond Jubilee, this is a really milestone anniversary. So we want to create a kind of tapestry of the journey so far. It's like a palimpsest, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We have different layers. When you take, for instance, our Chief Justice there, in 1994, when we had the coup, he was the Minister of Justice. So he had worked on the Jawara. But I imagine that when you compare him to earlier generations, each will have different experiences.
Absolutely.
So we want to collect all these experiences and create a rich tapestry.
Yes. Coming up on QTV's update again, we have Russia plan to establish diplomatic mission in the Gambia, Liberia, the Comoros, Togo. Foreign Minister Segre Rirov announced at the launch of the Department of Partnership with Africa. So Russia, Putin.
Well, you've had all these summitteerings and partnerships, Russia with Africa, China with Africa, EU with Africa, whatever with Africa. I don't know. It depends on what we make of it.
Exactly. So now let's move on to the other segment of this program, and we have global multi-service introduces eco-taxi to promote sustainable transportation in the Gambia. And we have in the studios Buba Njai, the CEO of Global Multi-Service, and of course we have Tijan Toure, the coordinator. Gentlemen, welcome to QTV this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's good to have you here. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is going to change the dynamic. It's going to change the way we do our thing. We are going to leave the Europe, the America, while we are in the Gambia.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So
right.
first, can we go through what the Global Multi-Service does?
Well, basically, the Global Multi-Service does a lot of things. We do infrastructure, power. When it comes to power, we look forward for the solar energy, because Gambia, the Smiling Coast, we have 24 hour, let's say, a whole day of solar, which we can transform into energy. We see how we have shortage of power sometimes in the country. So Global Multi-Service is looking onto that side of providing all those. And as we speak today, we're launching eco-taxi, because in America, in New York, transportation is at your fingertip. You grab your phone, you go on the app, you order the cab, and you track it while it comes to you.
Okay.
So we want to bring that in the Gambia, and that's what we're looking forward to launch on the 8th of this month.
But interestingly, how are we going to do that? In the Gambia, we have problems with street names, addresses. How are we going to do that?
It's pretty easy, because with these street names, some we have like cabildos, and we have areas that attach to a location or a landmark building, a structure that is well known. Like when you say Q City, you can track your vehicle through Samsung or the Q building. And when you order the cab through the app itself, you can track it from the location of pickup to where it is going. On Google, sometimes when we go on, you can track on current location of where you're at, even on WhatsApp. So on this app, it will give you access to see it on your phone. The app, you can get it on your phone if you have iPhones or you have the Samsung phones.
Okay.
On the Play, you can get it, and then when you track your cab, when you call your cab, you can track it right away. It's pretty easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk to Buba. Buba, how is this going to change the dynamic?
Well, it's a good initiative, and like my partner says, it's something very important and is needed in this country. I mean, if you go to all developing world countries, America, UK, even as close as Nigeria, Senegal, they have this. I mean, our main aims and objective of getting into this innovation is we have seen a lot of bad instances about taxis and this transportation sector. So that's the dynamic that we really want to change. And to change that, this is one of the tools that we want to do. Okay, because we have seen a lot of instances where you took a taxi and at the end of the day it results to a fighting or a dead body.
True.
And you weren't able to track the drivers. And this is why we come up with this idea to make sure we make transportation easy in the Gambia, because over 400 years ago, we have only one recipe, and that recipe needs to change.
True.
So this is why we're trying to change it to a digital way, where we're going to discourage cars and people will be using, other ways, method of payment. With that, it will definitely help us, and it will help, the other companies over here.
True. Mr. Mood.
Yes.
I'm going to order a taxi. Always,
always, man, public transport, I use public transport all the time.
This is going to be good for you, eh?
But I wonder, before you did you do any market study and wonder to identify, to assess whether it will catch on?
Yes, we did that. We did that. Because this is something that Gambians really need, because most of the people in Gambia have traveled abroad or even as close as Senegal. And we see Yango, we see Uber, we see Lyft, and all those kind of things. I mean, people wondering whether it will work in Gambia. Yes, it will work, because the GPS is working fine. Like my brother says, if you type Albert Market right now, it shows you the direction from here to there. And with the app that we have tested, and it's working fine. If you request it, you could see the location of the driver, how many minutes away from you, who is the driver. You're going to see his picture, you're going to see his phone number, you're going to have his call of the car, mark of the car, and all those things whilst you order it.
That's it.
Yeah,
So how does it work? I'm on QCell. I want to go to Bruceby. So what do I do? You're launching on the
on the 8th.
On the 8th.
Yes.
So after how exactly would it work? Do I call?
Yeah, we have the app.
Okay.
you just
Okay.
have to download the app.
Uh-huh.
If you download it, it asks for your information, and if you get the information when you get to the app, if any driver is available, they will accept it.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And when it comes to payment, you have different type of payments.
So you
could
have
use-
your own drivers?
Well, we encourage
Is that how
people.
it works?
No, we encourage people. Let's say you are a cab driver and you have your own car.
Yeah.
You just have to come register the car with us.
Okay.
We get your informations and have all those things with us. So if he requests a taxi, the system will transfer it to you if you are closer to the customer. Then if you accept it, it will give you automatic way of getting to the customer's address. Because the GPS pick up the location. Yeah.
So you want taxis to come and register with you?
Yes.
Is it already happening? I wonder.
Yes,
Have you had a
few
good
of them are
number?
coming. Yes, few of them. Actually, we're going to start it on the 8th. We have a lot of people who do the reservation. They just have to come and finish it, and we just start it. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
That's an extraordinary.
Nice. So these cars, what do we do? They are installed with GPS, right?
I'm going to
No.
come in there a little bit to help Boba. Basically, you have an iPhone. What do you have? A Samsung?
I only use Samsung.
Samsung, pretty good. Okay, you can go on your Google Play, you download the app, Echo Taxi. When you download it, then you put in your information that you need a cab.
Okay.
When you go in there, when you order the cab, you will see the driver's information, detailed information. It gives you everything,
Okay.
including the picture and even the vehicle, with the color of the vehicle and the location where the driver is. It's not an app that we just created. We
Okay.
have people who are going to sit 24 hours
To monitor.
to monitor.
Okay.
When you go in, they will confirm, you do your payment, they will put it into the driver's account.
Okay.
It helps the driver and it helps the owner of the car. Today we have drivers here who have vehicles. They cannot even have a good amount saved by the end of the year to invest into a house.
True.
This is like a bank, like a money wallet that's going to be saved for them. By the end of the month, they can collect it. The benefit is also goes to the owner of the vehicle if the person is not here. Today, if you look around in the Gambia, you have people selling cars everywhere. People are renting cars everywhere. They're not paying tax to the government. With Eco Taxi, you pay your tax, which helps contribute to national development.
Okay.
And by paying your taxes, also your money is saved. The owner of the vehicle, if you live in Senegal or live in Germany, he can also know how much money is collected.
Okay.
And it benefits also the customer, the passenger. You can sit at home, you want your daughter to be picked up at a different location. You can go on the app, send the driver to pick up your daughter while you sit at your house, tracking the vehicle until it gets to your location. And the other part of it is like, we welcome everybody.
Okay.
If you have a taxi, you want to register with us, you can register with us. We ourselves, we have our individual vehicles, which we're going to put onto this program.
Okay.
We're launching the company on the 8th of February. It's going to be from 9 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and you're all invited.
Oh yeah, we will be there. I mean,
Thank you.
we'll be there to grace the occasion.
Thank you.
You know.
Very nice.
So let's talk about the sensitization for drivers to register? Because now, nagariga ñu ne la ne léegi sa oratul pour ñuy jël taxi because incidents. I gave someone a lift and you know the person was like day before Tobaski yena boy ñoo ma xoj ci biir taxi dama jël town trip ñu xoj ma yóbbu ma foo xam ne xaw ma fa. You know. Wow. So are you encouraging drivers?
We encouraging drivers because not only the drivers we encouraging, but even the passengers. Because sometimes you will land at the airport, you get picked up from there, and then a driver will overprice you, number one, or you're going to misplace your phone or your backpack with all your informations in there.
True, true.
How will you find it? You'll be in a rush, you don't know who picked you up, and then you might not even figure out the registration of that vehicle.
Of that car, yeah.
So with Eco Taxi, whenever a vehicle is dispatched to you, we have all the information. If you lose your money or a crime is being committed, we Eco Taxi will make sure, because we're working with the police, with the Commissioner of Traffic, we'll be working with even the Minister of Transportation. They will be aware, crime unit, they'll be aware of what we do, and we're going to give them the information. It's going to reduce crime in the country when it comes to public transportation and violence that happens in between. And it's going to protect us and our children. And the benefit is big because you might even have a second car parked at your parking lot. Bring it in.
True. You see, drivers, most of the time car owners would be like, I recently sold my the car that I use for commercial.
Oh, yeah?
Because it wasn't sustainable. I mean, I had driver's problems, you understand? So I have to sell it because it's just a waste standing there. So what will happen if at all, okay, something happened, I leave my bag in a car and at the same time we cannot find the driver. So is Global Multi-Service going to pay that damage?
No, we are not responsible.
No, we are not responsible for paying that.
And even the driver is not even responsible for that. Because it is the duty and the responsibility of the customer to make sure you protect your belongings. But what we're trying to say is it's much easier to target driver than to just flag a taxi in the street. You understand what I'm saying? So in instance like that, if you lose your thing, you contact us or you have access to contact the driver will check around. If it is found.
No, what I mean is if the driver is nowhere to be found.
The driver will always be found.
No, it's always.
How about if he leaves and enter customers?
This is what happens.
Well, we just get the information we have and
that is
give it to the
registered
police.
under Eco Taxi. Remember, we are tracking you. I'm not saying this for drivers to be scared that we're tracking them, but it's their own safety. We're putting you on the road with our app. We have to have access of information. And that access of information protects you as an individual driving that vehicle.
Okay.
And the passenger you picked up. So you pick up a passenger, he happened to lose or forget his belongings in your vehicle. Eco Taxi, we are not liable because I have to be clear of that. It's up to every individual to be responsible of your own property. If you happen to forget it, we will assist by dispatching to the driver, hey, so time, at this minute, at this location time, you pick up this female or this gentleman, and they left their property in your vehicle. We are aware. The word we are aware we're going to use. Please assist, drop it off to the base, or let's coordinate how it's going to get dropped off. I'm going to be clear on that. If a driver pick you up from Serakunda Market, drop you in at Brikama, you forget your wallet or your backpack in there, it's not the responsibility of the driver to drive it back to Brikama because he have to use gas. You can come to the base to pick it up. It's a fair shot for each and every one. You, the individual who lost your luggage or forgot it in the vehicle, and the driver himself. Because remember, some of these vehicles, they are owned by them, the owners themselves, and they have to fuel it to move from point A to point Z to be able to earn income to take care of themselves and their families. So the benefit is both parties. The driver, the passenger. And it saves money, like what you said. You had a transport vehicle before, but you're not making money from it. I experienced the same thing. This is where it benefits owners of vehicles. Like you have your vehicle, you give it to a driver, every day he comes, Monday, ben $100. You cannot fight him down.
True.
Because he was out there. And you have to believe what he said.
Dama panon the whole day. Te dew ma fen.
Dew ma fen. Doo ko gis, doo ko xam. Saka suñ borom gele gele yi ñu ngi lekk suñ xaalis tam. Yàlla ñu baalal leen ma rek so leen may déglu. But dafay dimbale driver. It's going to help the driver.
Okay.
With the apprentice he works with. And it's going to help the owner of the vehicle to save money, to be able to put jobs out there for our youths today. Gambia, the youths, they need jobs out there.
True.
When there is investors, people who invest in transportation, and they know that what they invest in, they get a return, they will be able to invest more.
Okay.
You know?
All right. So do we have the choice to choose, okay, what type of vehicle we want to pick us up? If I want a tuk-tuk, sometimes I want to ride in a tuk-tuk. You know, if I want a Benz, can I choose from the app?
Yeah, you could choose on the app, because if you go to the app, it gives you choices there. You go take VIP, classic, you know, school, whatever you want to choose. Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to the app, it's in lineup, and if you request, it tells you the price and the distance. Then you take it from there.
But are we thinking of decentralizing it as well? I mean, sending it to Basse, my people?
Yes, we're working on that. But for now, we're just focusing on the Greater Banjul area.
You know, one thing I want you people to know, you've touched a very complex area. That is transportation, which is very important in this country. Transportation is everything. And without transportation, we cannot come and sit here and talk. I cannot walk from my home to this place. It's very far. So transportation is key. So a company like yours coming and structuring our transportation system, you know, I think it's remarkable. This is the best thing that I've heard this February. It's February, right?
Thank you.
So I mean, it's the best thing that I've heard. And I think you know, with time, people will get to know what actually you people want to portray.
Yeah,
you're absolutely
right.
right.
It's not actually limited to the Greater Banjul,
okay.
But we are focusing on Greater Banjul now.
For now.
But you could still take a taxi, and the taxi takes you to Basse, even in Senegal, anywhere you want to go.
Okay.
And second, if people in Basse area come to register too, if the network is good, we don't have a problem. We just worry about the network system. But if the network is okay, wherever you are, you can come register.
Okay.
And any closer customer to you, if you request it, that customer will come to you.
Okay. So I hope your people, they'll be connecting with Q-Cells for you, boss. I mean, the pure 5G. I'm going 5G be burning. I'm not they are doing 5G. Why you swing boss more than pure? Make sure you get the Q-Cell 5G. Yes. So thank you very much, gentlemen. And we hope to be there on the 8th to grace the occasion.
Thank you.
You know, at least to tell everybody this is happening in this country. Yes. Thank you. Viewers, will take a short break. After the break, we'll engage, you know, Kodu Jeng, President of Women in STEM, and, you know, on some of the innovations celebrating the rise of women in STEM. We'll be right back.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your Q Money wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your Q Money account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Q Money e Orange Money Johnny weɓini nuldugol mbuɗi mi yetoma joni ida wawi nuldude mbuɗi e rako Gambia ɗo yaha Senegal e Q Money wallet ma on eyyi ko honno wonɗa e fadde mi yetoma udduto Q Money account ma on joni fuɗɗoɗa nuldude mbuɗi e teriɓe ma rewa ɗon ka Orange Money nder Senegal fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi ida wawi noddude Q Money customer care e 133 Q Money suñu kalpe ɗum no yaadi e sartaji. Q Money anin Orange Money ye bulodi nyola pour ka kodi kio sone yandi ka bonan Gambia banko kan kata Senegal banko kan anin Q Money wallet e ka mune batu e muna fan Q Money account wala sign pour ka dati ka kodoki e terimal anila dimbayal kana anin Orange Money Senegal ni lafta ku Senegal sotola je Q Money customer care commandi 133 Q Money suñu kalpe ning sartolle bala Q Money ak Orange Money ñoo lëkkaloo pour yombalal leen yónnee xaalis bàyyi ko Gambia dem ba Sénégal ak Q Money Wallet looy toog di xaar dawal léegi nga ubbi Q Money account pour nga mun a door di yónnee xaalis sa xariteeg sa mbokka yi jaarale ko Orange Money Sénégal léegi pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call Q Money customer care si 133 Q Money suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd ak sarta yuñ tëral.
Mitoma. First time cross, really threatening, and it's dropped for Minte, rifled in! Out.
Did you know you can buy QPower using Q Money Wallet absolutely free up to $30,000 Cs? Use our app or dial 323# and select QPower. Choose Register Meter. Enter your meter number. Dial *323# and follow these simple steps. Number 1, select option 3 for QPower. Number 2, choose option 1 to buy any amount of QPower. Enjoy free QCell airtime every time you cash in to purchase QPower.
We are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Now let's move to the last segment of this program. Women in STEM. Gambia, in partnership with the West African International School WISE, launch a Girls in STEM chapter for schools to shape a brighter future for girls through science, technology, engineering, mathematics. The aim is to empower the next generation of women innovators. And we have Kodu Jeng, President of Women in STEM Gambia, and Miss Ndong. How are you doing, ladies?
We are fine. Thank you for having us.
Good. Let's start with Kodu. Let's talk about this partnership with WISE. How did the whole idea come about?
Okay. Since we started Women in STEM Gambia, we do have girls in STEM chapters. So WISE was one of them. For now, we have more than 15 schools that we are working with. And for WISE, there was only one thing different. They wanted us to sign an MOU with them to have this girls in STEM chapter. So with the Girls in STEM chapter, we are going to provide the professionals who will be helping the students to carry out the activities that we have laid down for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. What is going to be the fate of this partnership in the future?
Yeah, what we expect to achieve from these girls is to help them at an early age to engage in things like scientific research. We expose them to different careers available in STEM. We engage them in public speaking, like panel discussions.
Okay.
And have access to science fairs, and also work with the women in STEM professionals. These are the things we want to do with them. At least have them exposed to STEM at an early age. Yeah.
Interesting, Mr. Boyd. Yes. So, Ms. Ndong, let's talk about your interests when it comes to the STEM field. What sparked your interest? What motivates you to pursue that field?
Good morning. I am Nancy Ndong. I'm also the communication officer for Women in STEM.
Okay.
I am into the construction field, that is the civil engineering. I have the passion for it when I was young, so being in a male-dominated area motivates me more. And I've also realized that when it comes to the Gambia, STEM fields are not that much common to women. So that also kind of motivates me more. And knowing that I have the love and passion into doing the field that I am into. And we realize that most of the women in this field are normally sidelines when it comes to STEM field, especially my area of specializations. You realize that when you're on the construction side, there are some activities that are normally done on site, and it's like, this is not for you. You cannot do this. It's too heavy. You cannot carry this. So with that, you are kind of neglected.
You are marginalized.
Yes, and the fact that you are not present to see how it is done, or how it is carried out, you cannot gain the experience onto how things are being done. One thing is like, if you are getting into anything and there is no love and passion for, I don't think it's necessary pursuing it. I find myself wanting and having the zeal to do it, and that gets me to where I am.
Yes, it's quite interesting there. You've already called it a male-dominated field.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to know, what was the initial trigger for you? Was it an experience? Was it the subjects you were good in at school? How did you sort of come to know that actually I want to be a civil engineer?
Well, actually, it's not.
Like that,
It's not about like the courses that I was doing, because I was an art student, and when it talks about STEM, it's about science and mathematics, and you realize that most of the art students are not considered when it comes to science, because there is this belief that art students are very bad in science and mathematics. So being an art student and able to overcome myself in STEM field, especially that has to relate with maths and science, like, it inspires a lot. Because when I was going to school, I was battling with my maths and also technical drawing. I was very bad at it, and the fact that the schools that I went through, we were not having anything that related to like technical drawing, because even holding the compass was an issue for me. So I was finding it difficult to able to draw. So you realize that most of the lecturers will be like, you are the one to control the compass, not the compass controlling you. So I will have to stay at school until around 6 p.m. with the people that I know are good in that area, especially when I was going to GTTA, and you realize that these St. Peter students are very good at technical drawing. So I have to make friends, get myself attached, able to overcome the things that I know. It's part of my career, and I'm not good at it. So the cycle that you move around with also counts a lot. You cannot be bad at something and you move with people that are also bad at it. You cannot improve. The only way you can improve is when you have people that are good into things that you want to improve yourself in.
Exactly. Let's talk to Kodu. Is the dynamic changing? I mean, according to her, it's a male-dominated field. What can you read? I mean, let's read the changes.
Yes, we have seen drastic changes since we founded Women in STEM. I am amazed each day when I have people joining the organization. I can remember there was this day that a guy called me, "Kodo, I've seen the work you guys are doing. I wanted my wife to be a member." I was really impressed. So we enrolled that lady, and also the school level. You will realize that not only the science students are enrolling as STEM members.
Okay.
Yes, even the art students.
Oh, art is coming now.
Yeah, they are all coming.
Okay.
Which is very good. Because
when we were in school, we used to think the art students are not smart. We the science students.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that exposure is there, and that interest is building up, which I am very happy to see at this stage. Because once they develop interest and be in that surrounded where STEM is discussed, science is discussed, engineering, they will know where their energy is. This is the area that I am good at. Maybe some of them are even doing arts courses without knowing that they have energy in STEM. But once they are in that environment, it will help them develop their skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. And even this, to be quite honest, they used to call it the two cultures, arts and science. It's really an artificial separation, really.
Yes.
Because you want your STEM people to be educated to the extent that they can become good citizens.
Exactly.
You get that in the art.
Yes. Exactly.
What is the point of having massive STEM, but nobody's committed to the country? Nothing works. We've had educated people for goodness how long. We're still complaining about development, aren't we? So that sense. So I wonder your particular program with WIRES. So you said professionals coming in. Well, what does it mean? You have a mentorship program? How does it work?
Yes, what we do with the girls in STEM chapters, WISE is just like any other school that we are working with, is we have what we call a chapter leader. It has to be a high-profile professional. And we have chapter members. They are STEM members. They are all women in STEM members. So we assign, let's say, a minimum of 5 or 6 professionals who will be taking care of that school. So the school level also, we have activities for each term. So each time, the team from Women in STEM will go there and conduct those activities. These activities are engaging. So the students will start playing with STEM at an early age. So this is what we do with the chapters. And also we have the STEMathon that was going on. We engage the students because each school has to come up with a project that is related to STEM. So these students also participate in that program. We are about to have our conference this month at the conference center, and the students are engaged also, because they have to come and discuss on topics that are related to, like this year is agriculture. So they will come and discuss on agriculture and how we can use STEM to change the agricultural sector in the Gambia. So these are the things we do with the students.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just ask you this then. Then I wonder, what do you think of, do you think that the curriculum you have maybe for secondary school, primary, kindergarten, do you think that it encourages STEM, as it were, for students to take up STEM, or introduces students to STEM very early? What do you think?
No. To me, it's not. And even when it comes to teacher training, they need to train the teachers on STEM so that they can impact that knowledge on the students. Because if you look at the curriculum we have now, it's more of theory work. There is nothing much to do with practical. And that's where we have to start this. The world is moving. Other countries are having, like in Ghana, I recently saw that they launched a STEM academy. Students will be there from senior secondary school to university. So you imagine when those students finish school, how they are going to impact the economy of that country. So we need to look at our curriculum. We need to have more teachers trained. We need to introduce more laboratories in the school so that students will build interest at an early age. Yeah.
So what are you going to tell a student, a female student otherwise, who is unsure whether to choose and forge ahead with the same field or not?
Okay, since we have opened up that room for them to come and talk to the Women in STEM members, we will tell them that, we will ask them questions where they are interested in. What can they do most? What is the areas that they are very good at? From there, we can advise them on what they can do with their careers. The most important part is to open up to them, and for them also to see that we have women in these areas in the Gambia, and they are Gambians. Because I can explain one of the things we do is to engage women in STEM professionals who are outside the Gambia. They are Gambians, but some of them are in the UK or in the US. So we have this online program, webinars that we have. They will come and explain their journey, where they started, what problems they face, how they overcome those problems, and where they are now. So with students, sometimes they will have issues along the way that can stop them from continuing. Like in my case, when I completed grade 12, there was only one university in the Gambia by then, and they were not offering engineering courses. So I got married, but still I was interested in going to school. So when GTMI started, Gambia started having advanced diploma programs, then I enrolled.
Okay.
But if it is someone else, you could have said that I'm married now, I want to continue my program. But I continued, and luckily Gamtel was there to send me to Ghana and have my BSc. So when you come across difficulties, Women in STEM will be there to help you to overcome those hurdles so that you will continue in the field of STEM.
So, Ms. Nakung, what motivates you, to forge ahead after all the challenges that you mentioned here?
When it comes to like the challenges we normally face in Gambia, there is this mentality that that we the Gambians normally have is, if you are a science student, it's obviously you have to be a nurse, a doctor, or a pharmacist. If you are a commerce student,
or a banker,
you have to be a banker or an accountant. If you're an art student, you have to be a journalist,
a lawyer,
or lawyer.
So we have that trend. I think it's dragging us behind as a nation. You understand? I think we need more people in our other fields. At some point, program, I said, okay, let's go to the University of the Gambia. Every year we graduate a lot of lawyers. At the end of the time, these lawyers, what do they do? Although they are playing a role, at some point in our transitional justice process, in the justice process of this country. But at the end of the time, how is this going to impact our nation? So we need to change the dynamics, at some point.
Yes, as a nation, we need to focus more on skills education, because it contributes a lot to the socio-economic of every country. You realize that if you are going in for this STEM field, first you will be discriminated, if not your family, by the society, especially those that are into the mechanic field, the carpentry. Some will be like, yo amlo eb nga romba fi liggéey yep nga ne yow lii ngay dem def, especially if you are a lady, and they will be like, we have better works for you, like being in office as an accountant, as an secretary. Yes, I've even given the title the sexy mason, and I claim it.
Oh, nice. Wow, yes. Nice, not that.
No, to me, I'm really quite curious. I was struck by that. I thought that ideas, attitudes were more progressive. I had not realized that we were so retro with the younger generation.
We still have them.
Yeah,
we still do.
Thought, ooh.
We still have those problems, as Nancy explained, and she's running a big project at the moment. She's heading that project, and it's successful. It's moving. So that's what I always tell them. When you are given a task, you should serve it as an example for other girls. Make sure you do your best in that project that you are given, so that when other girls apply for such opportunities, they will be given the access to do so. We still have those problems, as Nancy explained, but I believe there is some level of progress. They are fading away. People are looking at how we can use these areas, like she mentioned, skills, to develop our country. It's about the economy. And this is something that can easily improve our economy. So I believe as people, or as government, or as Gambians, we should be investing so much into these areas. We have seen how artificial intelligence is coming up. It's solving problems. So we should invest so much energy in these areas so that we can easily develop our country. As Gambians, I think we have catching up to do. The other countries are far ahead of us, So we should invest in this area so that the next generation will not start having problems like Nancy explained. They will just come in and continue working towards our country's development.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kodu. Thank you, Nancy, for coming on the program. And I wish you all the best of luck. Keep pushing. We need more women in this area. That's why the Q Group Foundation, increased the package of sponsorship from 10 to 20 this time for university students, especially those in the STEM area. So, ladies, keep pushing. We are behind you. We will marry Masons. We want them. We want women mechanics.
I just want
it's not
to
a problem.
Thank you, Group, for funding our conference.
Wow.
The conference we'll be hosting this month.
Okay, nice.
It's fully funded by Q
By the
Group.
Q Group.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
It's your boss.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Momodu Mboj, Tata. Yes.
Tata.
All right, until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same time, same station, same program. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sure,